Hey there. What follows is a conversation with Michael at Fusionly, a client of mine. We've been working together for a couple of months and we talk a bit about marketing, automation, and marketing automation, and doing outreach and personalized outreach to clients. And we talk about the different aspects of LinkedIn and direct mail marketing as well. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Michael from Fusionly. Thank you.
Hi, Michael. So, can you give us a quick intro of yourself? Welcome to the MVP Engineer Podcast. We're here live. I'm in Florida, and I believe you're in Canada. So, give us a quick intro of who you are, what you're working on. Love to hear some more.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. Name is Michael Couts, founder and CEO of Fusion Leads. What we've done is consolidated sales outreach and personalizing the sales outreach strategy for sales team that are ranging from 1 to 5 employees, so a relatively small sales team that can leverage the platform for radically scaling their outreach, through LinkedIn automation, email, and much more. And yes, I'm calling from the White North, specifically in a small town called Kingston, which is halfway between Toronto and Ottawa.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I know we've been talking a lot about LinkedIn automation and figure out how to do it at scale. So, we can think about different size companies, right? Like we could sell to enterprises and we could sell to one enterprise and fund ourselves for a year, right? Or we could go to the 1 to 5 size sales teams and sell to 100 of them or 1,000 of them, right? Because there's so many more of them, right? So we want to specialize in the size of company that we're selling to and the type of sales that we're doing, and then automate for the LinkedIn outreach. I know we've talked again about a lot of LinkedIn outreach. Um, I've done some outreach with some VAs, some virtual assistants, and more than twice I've gotten messages from LinkedIn that says, "You're locked out. You're not allowed to use LinkedIn anymore. You're locked out until tomorrow at 9 a.m. Don't come on. You can't come on. You're using an automation tool." So I send them a message. I send them a message on their support network and I say, "I haven't used an automation tool. I used a virtual assistant. Please reactivate my account." And thankfully, they do reactivate the account. But my point is, they are very sensitive to mass messaging and specifically to bots and automation tools and computers trying to send messages. So they're cracking down on these automation tools. How do we fix that? How do we make that happen? How do we send mass marketing without getting crushed by the LinkedIn algorithm?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's I've had my fair share of learning experiences over the years, and yeah, I mean LinkedIn's Microsoft's algorithm is quite incredible, in detecting whether you're using automation tool or any other type of external third party unverified tool. LinkedIn, of course, does have a verification and kind of filtering policies in which you can integrate some tools, but the main goal for LinkedIn is to build authentic relationships and grow your network authentically. And even using a VA to manage your account is also, though they won't strike your account with a penalty, it is within their policies that you cannot have a VA behind the scenes. But to be a business owner, growing and scaling a company or a sales team, we have to find ways to be creative to expand that outreach, right? And LinkedIn automation is nothing new. LinkedIn email automation, just for additional touch points, has been around for I mean, at least 2014, when it was starting to hit some momentum. But the challenge is, which I'm sure many of your listeners will probably have seen, are the just the same messages that you see time and time and again. Hey, Michael, just looking to build my network, or hey, I saw that we have some things in common. There's no rapport. Like, I don't know who you are. More often than not, it's a bait and switch, right? Where I'm just looking to find, I'm just or just looking to connect, and then they hit you up a day later. oh, here's my pitch and just sell you. It's like, well, you just ruin that trust. I'm never going to speak to you again. Maybe even unfollow or, lose you as a connection. Um, but how best to manage your profile is, ensuring the tooling that you have are, it's used as it's built on a cloud instead of a Chrome extension. You're setting up your IP addresses appropriately as well. Some automation tools haven't quite figured out the whole IP address and ensuring that, when you're sending out the messages that it's coming from that IP address. And sometimes we might make a mistake and log in with our phone, that might not have its separate IP or even a VPN set up, and it actually could get flagged. Even though you're still doing things right, but you could be in a different country, and so they're tracking, right? I mean, they're tracking. LinkedIn is tracking where you're logging in from, how many requests that you're sending in a day, and the biggest thing we had to go about, building the platform is ensuring that we are mimicking human behavior as much as possible and doing, the LinkedIn outreach. And furthermore, how to personalize each and every single message to that individual so it doesn't come across as spam or bot. It comes across as authentic. And that's really the key value proposition.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we want to come across as human, but we want to be human, right? We want to actually be authentic. We want to say something relevant to these people, to the people we're selling to. And yeah, so can you speak a little bit more on that? How do I only say relevant things, right? Like it's such a moving target, right? Each client, each potential sales lead, I don't know where they are today, right? Like how do we pinpoint what they're thinking about so that I can say something, only say things that are relevant to them?
Great question. It comes down to, it sales 101 before contacting any prospect, any lead is you're doing your research, right? You want to do conduct your research, understand any particular pain points, understand the business that you're reaching out to or the individual. It's crafting the message, crafting the sales pitch based on your business and your value proposition, and positioning it in front of that prospective customer, right in front of that lead, all the while understanding their potential pain points and uncovering that. It's hard to uncover those pain points without having that initial triage or discovery call. However, with the internet, we all leave breadcrumbs, right? We all leave little bits of information that that could be used as an icebreaker, that can be used as a data point for us to merge all of these other various data points, which be Twitter, LinkedIn itself, could be podcasts, it could be PR Newswire or other PR media sites. It could be virtually anything that is on the internet that is left behind from us and our movement on online, Facebook, Instagram, right, any social media platform. And so by triangulating the information, by obtaining the information, we're able to triangulate a personalized message that is fit to that specific individual. And thanks to AI, we've been able to achieve that. But it's ensuring, and through our expert systems and our proprietary methods, is to come across as authentic and not just potentially an AI generated script. And so it's creating the most authentic and personalized introductory line, value proposition statement, whatever that is, by scraping tons of data that's out on the internet and bringing that together and sending that message, sending that friendly message, like, hey, I heard you on this great podcast, MVP engineer. You're talking about problem solving on a particular issue. Well, I'd love to talk to you more about that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that makes a lot of sense. You mentioned just sending a generic AI message and just sending something that was generated by some random AI, right? I think it's important to note, from my perspective, I've been studying technology for many years. From my perspective, the AIs are better than the humans now. In a lot of ways, it's just better. I use this example a number of times, but I've studied Python pretty deeply in my life. and I have I would say an expert understanding of the language and the different keywords. And I asked ChatGPT to explain to me the yield keyword, which is a relatively advanced topic. It creates generators so that the list doesn't hold a lot of memory in memory. Um, and I asked ChatGPT to explain what does it do, and it gave the most lucid explanation I've heard in my life. I've read dozens of blogs on what it means. I've read dozens of human accounts and experienced it firsthand. I've used it, right? And when I asked ChatGPT, it gave me 2 paragraphs of the best explanation I've ever heard in my life. And I said, if that was written by Jeff Dean at Google, it's better than what he wrote. It was just better. So the point is, this AI tooling is there. Like, we can use it. If we're using it properly, we're going to get a better result than we will if we hire the best sales guy in the world, right? It's just going to be better. And
Exactly.
yeah, and I think what a lot of people look to is the Turing test. Alan Turing in the 50s wrote a paper on how we'll know when we've created an AI that's sufficiently smarter than us, and that's to say it's impersonated a human without detection, right? And for me, the Turing test is just not relevant. Who cares? I don't care if I can not be detected in some general language chatbot. Who cares? What I care is, do I get the result I need? Did you teach me something accurate about the yield keyword? Did you make a sale? That's all I care about. Did I make some money at the end of the day? That's what I care about. So yeah, just some thoughts about the AI stuff. You mentioned your clients' pain points. If you're selling to a potential prospect, what are their pain points? And we mentioned something before that we don't just care about what our clients' pain points are, but we care about our clients' pain points. Right? We're going to get a little bit meta about this, and we're going to say, I'm a software company. I sell MVPs to people, and I'm going to sell my MVP to a marketing agency. So, what does the marketing agency's clients need? Because ultimately, I'm building for them, right? I'm not building software for my client to go sit in a dark room and run the software for himself. I'm building for his clients. So, can you talk to me a little bit about what does it mean to research your client's clients? How do I understand not just my client's pain points, but my client's pain points? How do I go about that?
Well, that's a fun brain exercise. Considering that, with our platform, and we've been able to leverage a lot of channel partners in that regard. Well, the marketing agency, we've got consultants, and
Can you define channel partners for me? I don't know what that means.
sorry, yeah, channel partner. So channel partner would be classified. It's essentially an extension of your company, in which that it's a strategic partnership, and that partner would advocate for your product or your service. And so in this instance, we'd be working with another marketing agency for LinkedIn outreach, right, and sales prospecting, and some of the agency's clients that are coaches, right, and course creators. They're built on Kajabi or Uscreen. They're creating these courses, and so they're trying to reach out to other lawyers or doctors or orthodontic practices, and so they needed a creative way to get in front of their customers in parallel or in tandem with their existing marketing strategy. So the channel partner, we really work hand in hand to help identify those pain points and solve those pain points. And so it really complements marketing agencies because they use digital means for the most part to work with their clients, right? Digital marketing campaigns to help fill the funnel. But there's other additional strategies for outreach that marketing agencies may not have a specialty in, right? In some instances, let's call this lead generation for argument's sake. And so they have a digital strategy to try to fill the top of the funnel, And we can then use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to identify who those decision makers are within that segmentation that they're targeting on for their digital ads. And so as the campaigns are going out, we are able to do the outreach on LinkedIn and email and by other means to get the message, right, to get the value proposition in front of their customers, right, their customers. And so by facilitating relationships through these channel partners, it extends our reach, right? They are referring business to us. And so whether it's as a reseller or as an affiliate, we prefer kind of an affiliate partnership, because that way it's more of a conversation. It gets us closer to their customers, even though they act as as the middle person, because it is their clients. We're just providing that service to help us radically grow and scale. As we're limited to our own sales team, by leveraging channel partners, you then further extend your reach out. An example for MVP Engineer would be here in Canada. We have a lot of innovation centers, a lot of early stage companies that may not have a technical founder, such as myself, and so they could be a potential channel partner in which you would be able to attract new business, right? Early stage companies, they've got 50, 100,000, and they need to develop a product, and so channel partners are incredible.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that word, channel partner. I think that fits well. And yeah, innovation centers, VCs, maybe startup boot camps or fundraising contests are all great channel partners, right? Can you give an example of a client's client? So when you're selling your service to people that want marketing, tell me about what you think about when it comes to the people that are paying them. How do you dive into their needs and kind of get in their heads so that you can demonstrate to your clients that you understand their needs? How do you go about that? Can you tell me what you think about when it comes to that?
Yeah, so we really do rely in that instance, our customers and their customers. We really lean into those channel partners, as mentioned, their deep knowledge and understanding of their own clients. And so standard intake form, but our channel partner would actually fill out that intake form. As most challenges with founders is that sometimes we think that our customers or our ICP, our customer profile, have specific pain points, but it's not until you subjectively have a look at it as an outsider, look into the business and say, it's like, well, maybe those aren't what the customers want. Maybe that isn't what their pain points are. And so we find it effective to work with those channel partners to relay the information over to us. And so in that instance, we rely heavily on our channel partners to further, uncover what those particular pain points are, and then craft the messaging and the outreach and the outbound from there.
So I think what I'm hearing is, let's say I'm selling to an entrepreneur in Canada, right? And I go to a channel partner, some kind of innovation fund, right? And then I would think of them as kind of one level above the client, and then you have the client, and then you have users of the client as one level below. And you're saying you reach out to the channel partner to say, you're closer to the client than me, so you can understand the users better than me. So channel partner, you help me craft the message to the clients so that I can sell them properly and be authentic and understand their needs so that I can give them the value that I'm providing. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, precisely. And through that input, right? Through that input provided by the channel partner, and even when we're working directly with the clients, I mean, it's still more or less the same formula. We just need to ensure that we have the appropriate inputs, for the scripts to be generated, through AI and our expert systems. Insert what that value proposition is or what that particular pain point is, and then we go and find that breadcrumb on the internet to to find that icebreaker, right? By scraping various data points and websites, and then from there it helps triangulate what that message will be and craft it on that one-to-one basis. But whether it's the call to action will be pretty consistent. And the value proposition would be, it's like, okay, well, we're solving X pain point for Y customer audience, and then pull all the data points together to come up with that crafted message.
Sure. So we talked a little bit about personalizing outreach messages, personalizing touch points from something that they discussed on their own on the internet in the last 14 days or 2 weeks, or whatever amount of time we want to go back. And you're referring to these as breadcrumbs. I think that's a good way to think about it. As we walk along, as we move in the virtual space, we leave behind a trail, right? And we want to see those things and then understand, do they like whole wheat bread or do they like white bread, right? And then sell them more of what they need, right? Or maybe give them an upgrade, right? So
Exactly.
talk to me a little bit about, how do we go from a breadcrumb to a sales pitch? Because we have to marry what they're eating, with what we're baking, right? We have to bring those two things together so that it's relevant and authentic, and most importantly relevant, right? How do we make that relevant to them?
Well, that's a great question. Maybe I should ask, my my CTO or my MVP engineer that's creating the product.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tough question, right? Like we're trying to outsource that out to an artificial intelligence, or maybe someone that knows this better, right? But we're taking the tweets and we're saying, what are they talking about, and trying to glean some information and try and say, hey, what do they care about? What do their clients care about? Who's this channel partner, and how do we marry our services to them, right? Everybody needs more customers, so of course they're going to need some marketing help, right?
Yeah, and a great example, a great example that we're working with right now would be, so companies that have recently raised a Series A, or even a seed, because a seed and a Series A in Canada are completely different than the U.S. So Series A in Canada, maybe a seed series in the U.S. Depending on the industry and the company, there's going to need to be some cybersecurity, SecOp type of compliance and regulation, right? Especially when it comes to, say, fintech. You need to be PCI compliant, right? Personal credit card information. You need to be protected, before you even get into fintech or even considering yourself getting into fintech. So with a new startup that was recently raised, $2, $5, $10 million raise, regardless of a seed or a Series A, they're going to need to have some level of cybersecurity and compliance, right, to meet with the regulators, and just for our own sense of well-being and security. So a crafted message would be, hey, company A, we just saw that you recently raised $10 million from venture capital fund XYZ or XYZ. And we've seen that they've done a number of deals in that particular industry. Congratulations. Well, if you're in this space, you obviously know that you need to be compliant, and then go into the spiel of, you need cybersecurity, right? You need it. It's going to be on your radar. You already know about it. So let's have a conversation and insert the value proposition and what makes you a better cybersecurity company than the next person. But that's a really great example. Just being able to pull that data. Really, that one's just from Crunchbase. It's a very simple formula for that one, but it's very effective. Because these early stage companies, when they get VC funds, they have really aggressive milestones to achieve.
Yeah, and they become targets once they're on the radar of once they've raised $10 million. Hey, there's something to steal.
Exactly.
So they're going to be cybersecurity targets, right? So something else that we've spoken about is the most exciting thing to me that we've been working on is the bulk bulk personalization for physical objects, for
Mm-hmm.
direct mail, not only direct mail of letters and kind of, yeah, letters in the mail, but also potentially physical objects, gifts, right? Um, Tell me a little bit about some of the ideas that you had there. I thought that was such an innovative, thoughtful thing to do, and yeah, I want to throw it over to you.
Yeah, this is really exciting. So over the last several months, we had a very simple Fusion Leads has been a really simple sales outreach enablement platform in which we use LinkedIn, email, uh, ringless voicemail drops, and direct mail, right? Good old snail mail, and personalizing, with the exception of the voicemail, personalizing the messaging tailored to the individual and the company. And through that, and through conversations with MVP engineer, we discovered an even more empowering potential when it comes to direct mail, and that is personalizing physical goods. What is incredible about that is being able to say discover that okay, you're born in April, or end of March, early April, so you're in Aries. Well, what if you were to receive, a pair of socks with the Aries horoscope, right? Or some other astrological, symbols that are on it, because some tweet you indicated that, oh, really neat of what SpaceX is doing, or the next frontier, next industry, trillion-dollar industry. You had some interest on Twitter that you were talking about, space, and so trying to merge those two together, send a pair of socks, and it is an incredible icebreaker because when you receive a gift, you want to reciprocate and respond to the inquiry. And so from a B2B perspective, and the direct mail has worked exceptionally well, right? The response rates has been really, really well. Taking it a step higher, okay, salts, you love to cook. Well, here's a selection of 4 different salts sourced from around the world, you know, and that's part of the messaging. Hey, first name, see that you love to cook. You're sharing your love and passion on Twitter. I followed it, and we can also do some pre-engagement and social warming, and actually like those posts prior to even sending that gift. And once they receive that gift, having those
I know
follow up.
what I know what social warming is because we've spoken, but maybe share just a little bit more of what that term means.
Sure. So social warming, or lead priming would be, let's go with, yeah, social warming or social selling, is defined as, we're engaging with the individual, right? We're engaging with accounts online, prior to asking for that sell. And so social warming would consist of, I would be actively engaged on your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and on Slack channels or any other kind of community, and getting my name, my face, in front of you, and that builds rapport, builds subconscious rapport. And if there's a long duration of even conversation, and we're doing this really lightly, where it's liking a post, commenting a post, resharing, retweeting, we're doing all of these activities, and then when we send an email, make a phone call, send a connection request, the response rate increases because they've already been introduced to who we are. And that,
Would
yeah.
it be fair to say you want to be a fan before you want to be a partner?
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna have to use that.
I don't know. Everybody knows it now, but no. I mean, that's what you're
Yeah.
talking about, right? Like you're talking about
Yeah.
engaging from a fan perspective and just liking and commenting and saying, "Hey, I thought this was great," and then you say, "Oh, by the way, I also have a service that you might want to buy."
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, so I didn't react when you said it. But I think the horoscope socks is such an interesting idea, right? Like that they're maybe interested in astrology or maybe just interested in space, right? Like you said, they follow SpaceX or something. There's some indication of that interest, and then you also have the pretty simple and straightforward task of determining when their birthday is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said happy birthday on LinkedIn. They said happy birthday on Facebook. Somebody said, hey, I just got my free Chipotle burrito for my birthday. Whatever it is, right? You can figure that out, and then you can marry that to the interest of the horoscope, and then everybody needs socks. Most people don't live in Florida, but everybody needs socks, right? So it's just and when I looked up the price, we looked this up in Etsy, and I believe it was 12, $13, and 12 bucks plus shipping, and you have a devoted fan. You went from fan to they're your fan, right? If somebody sends me a pair of socks with my horoscope on it, I'm gonna love you for life, right?
Yep.
So and maybe it'll convert at what, 40%, and if it converts at 40% for $12, you know,
Oh
I've,
yeah.
I've bought leads on LinkedIn. I've paid for advertisements on LinkedIn, and sometimes the leads are $23. And I said, why are they so expensive? And they're like, well, they're so qualified and they're so great. And I said, I bought 12 leads from you for $23 each and 0 converted. So how can you possibly tell me that they're high quality, right? Like, we're looking to maximize our impact with our dollars, right? And if we throw a little bit of software and artificial intelligence at figuring out these different quirky little things about people and understanding it and then sending them something thoughtful, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's just, look how much thought we put into this, right?
Hmm.
We bought you a pair of socks, and we threw your horoscope on it, or we identified you as somebody who likes to experiment in the kitchen. So we got you Himalayan salts as well as Ecuadorian salts. Like, they're just from all over the place. And we don't have to know that much about you. We just have to know, hey, he tried out a new recipe in the last 6 months. And of course they're gonna love that. That's what, $35? And it's just such a thoughtful, interesting thing, and it's memorable. And as long as you marry that back to your pitch and say, we were thinking about you, this is how we do our marketing, why don't you jump in? Why don't you jump on our bandwagon and you do your marketing like this? We know these are your clients and we can sell to them. We know how to sell to them. So let's help you. How can we help you? Email me back, and I'd love to talk with you further, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, I love it. I'll throw it back to you for some final thoughts.
It's really in many ways B2C, business to consumer, software and technology companies, one way or another, already do this. More so in an email fashion, retargeting. You go to your favorite clothing store, buy online, and then all of a sudden you're being retargeted all of these, products in which their algorithm thinks that you're going to want to buy and, sell you at the right time. But what we're doing with B2B, business to business, is because the real challenge is, especially now, right? Because we're such in a digital age. For me, sales was door knocking, right? I mean, pre LinkedIn, right out of college. LinkedIn was in its infancy. I mean, I didn't have it, but it was door knocking and cold calling and networking events. Meetup.com was my friend, and it was always building that relationship. And now with the digital age that we're in right now, it's becoming increasingly difficult to build net new relationships. It's even more difficult for a brand that no one has even heard of reach out to you and try to sell you on a pitch, seeing an ad, like SEO, social media. It's really difficult for brands to build relationships with individuals. But from an individual to individual basis, that's where the magic can happen. But it's sticking out from the crowd, whether it's through personalized, authentic messaging, or it's from physical goods that resonate with you, and you're going to want to reciprocate and think to the person like, well, that's very, very thoughtful. Not ready to buy yet, but I am not going to forget who you are or who your company is. It builds meaningful relationships, and this is really just the start. I think what's important for what we're building here is how to bridge that gap of building meaningful business to business relationships. As the end of the day, as founders, we always think that we have the antidote to everybody's pains and that we have the solution for that. And in most instances, we do. And so there's a lot of value that can be created from that.
For sure. Yeah. So I'm really excited about, getting after this with you and testing this out, seeing how specific we can get with people, how how cheap we can be able to send this stuff out, and how high we can get our conversion rate. Right, that's going to be the big indicator of success. So I'm really looking forward to that. And thank you for your time today. I appreciate all the interesting thoughts and sharing a little bit about your business and what we're going after, what we're building. So yeah, thank you for all that.
That's it's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to climbing the mountain and having you there with me.
Yeah, we haven't hit the halfway mark yet, so a
No,
long way to
no.
go.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. But as always, you should stop listening to me and go build your fucking company.